Hey guys, it's Riley here. So before we begin, I just want to throw out there that this does contain some heavy subjects. It does touch base on self-harm, child abuse, adoption, LGBTQ, and if you don't like those kinds of things, I suggest you go watch some pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows or some shit like that. Because I'm keeping it real. I'm not going to do anything that I'm not gonna make things different for the viewers. I'm sorry, but I'm not. So, yeah, let's begin now. I want to start off with telling you who I am, or a little bit about me. So, my name is Riley, like I said before, and I am 17, a junior in high school. I have 4 moms, 4 sisters, and 2 brothers. I love to read, write, sing, and I definitely love to listen to music. But that's not all there is to me. That's like the normal, oh, hey, look at that. She's just a normal human. She's just a normal teenage girl. But that's not all there is to me. Like I said, I have 4 moms. That's not normal. My oldest sibling is 30 and my youngest is 5. That's also not really that normal. I have PTSD, depression, anxiety, and NLD. So yeah, that is who I am that's just brief. So let's get into my history. So you may have noticed that I have changed and I am now in a different room. But so let's get into my history. So I am adopted. And as I said before, I have 4 moms. And so I have 2 adoptive mothers, Jill and Deb. And they got me when I was 9 months old. So then they were my forever parents. They are my forever parents. But at the time they were just foster parents. And so I was lucky and I only had one foster home, and I was lucky, and 2 of my sisters, like I said before, I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. 2 of my sisters are biological. One is 20. Her name is Renee. The other is 15. Her name is Shannon. I'm lucky because I was adopted with them, and I live with them, and I'm just lucky. My mom's ended up splitting when I was 2-ish, I'd like to say. My sister had not been born yet. She was an April baby, born in 2002, and I'm an October baby, born in 2000. So we were still in the system in the custody of a split gay couple, which is, in my personal opinion, pretty fucking cool. And then my sister was born, and my parents got her immediately. And Then when I was about 4 or 5, I think we were adopted by both Deb and Jill. And then in 2003, my mom, Deb, had started dating a woman named Patty. Patty had 2 kids. She had a son named Jake and a daughter named Allie. Jake is 18. Allie's 20-something years old. And Deb also has a biological child, and her name is Jamie. So that had me up to 5 siblings. And so that's pretty damn crazy. And then in 2008, my mom, Jill, started dating a woman named Brie. And she stayed with us, like, all the time, spent the night, and then she went away for, like, a week or so, I guess, on a trip. And when she came back, I had said, "Welcome home, Brie," or Brizo, or something like that. And my mom said, "Yeah, welcome home." And that turned into a 10-year marriage. 10-year relationship, which turned into a 5-year marriage. And a 5-year-old son now. They adopted my brother Tyler. He's 5. And they're still going strong. And our brother Tyler, my brother, he has really completed our family. Now, the next subject is really heavy. It does involve child abuse, so if you are squeamish with that, please stop watching and go watch some fucking... What did I say earlier? Go watch some fucking pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. So, we're gonna take a trip back to 9-month-old Riley. And, yeah. When I was about 9 months old, I was in a hotel room with Renee and our birth mother's boyfriend, who was abusive. And I don't really know if her birth mom was there, but her boyfriend, our birth mother's boyfriend, started, like, he was hitting us, and he threw my sister into the wall, and he was hurting us, and I feel like I remember it somewhat, but it could just be because of all the stories that I was told. But he hit us, and then I ended up in the hospital. I very vaguely remember this, that I remember being on Deb's chest, and I was hearing her, I heard her heartbeat, and it has since been my favorite sound. My mother's heartbeat is my favorite sound in the whole world. And if I start crying, I apologize. This is, or if I don't look at the camera a lot, sorry. But anyway, my sister and I were taken from our birth mother. My birth father was out of the picture. I only know his name, but that's it, and I'm not going to share his name for privacy reasons. Then no one knows who Renee's dad is, birth dad, so, but we are by blood half-sisters. All, Renee, Shannon, and I are by blood half-sisters. We all have the same birth mother, but different birth fathers. I went to Deb and Jill, and Renee went to our biological grandmothers, where she gained a bond with our birth uncle. We did, however, have visitations with our birth mom. Not fun. And this woman was not my mother. She was just like some stranger. And Deb and Jill were my moms, not this strange woman. She ended up getting pregnant with Shannon while we still had visitations. And, so I was kind of fucked. I gained a not-so-healthy fear of pregnant women through this. I am legitimately afraid of pregnant women. Like, I am. I can't be near them, I get nervous, my heart starts pounding. I even just hear somebody be like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm pregnant, and I start freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of there. And so I had bad feelings towards this woman. I was afraid to be near her, and then she got pregnant, and that was just added into the mix. But yeah, my sisters and I were adopted because Shannon's biological father was abusive. So we're going to move on to how that affects me today. So the abuse and such caused me a lot of psychological issues. I have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety and depression. I'm afraid of pregnant women. I get nervous around grown men. I stress over every little thing. It's affected me. It just has. Though I'm not sure it is connected. I have NLD as well. NLD is a learning disorder which you are very good in the verbal aspect of things, like reading, writing, talking, but your bad spots are visual and spatial, like you run into things. Motor and social skills, I have none. I have no social skills. And that is why I have no friends. But if you want to look more into what NLD is, I will put links in the description box below, because it's interesting, it is. Alongside that, for the longest time, I wasn't able to let my anger and fear out in the right way. My brain was playing catch up. It will always be playing catch up. But I will get into that more later on. So that's really kind of short, just how it's affected me. But the next part is depression and self-harm. And again, if you are uncomfortable with talk of self-harm and depression, I would advise that you leave this video. And I'm not even going to give a sarcastic remark. Just please, I'm not fucking around. Okay, so when I was in 8th grade, I was in a really bad space. I was thinking a lot about my birth parents. I had just read the first letter from my birth mom, and I was trying to convince Deb that I was old enough to meet my birth mom. So that I was in a good place, and let's just say she believed it, which she did. I met my birth mom, and everything was great. I met my birth uncle and aunt and my uncle's son and stepdaughter, and I met my birth mom's husband. My mom's Deb and Patty were there along with my sister Renee. I met with my birth mom and her husband twice more, and once with just my birth mom. My 15th birthday, I went and hung out with her. We ate lunch at the 99 restaurant. She gave me a card, and I really thought everything would turn out okay. I told people that I was cutting, and then I stopped. Like I said, I just thought everything was going to be okay. I went bowling with Renee and our birth mom and her husband, and Deb brought us all pizza. We played games in the arcade. We won so many things. It was a lot of fun. I had fun that night. When Deb picked us up that night, as I was saying goodbye, our birth mom I called to our birth mom, Mom, I just over my shoulder, I called, bye, Mom, and then we went home. The last time I saw my birth mom and her husband was at the mall. It was around Valentine's Day. They had just bought me a big pink stuffed dog, which I named Rosie. I still have too. I just can't seem to let it go. I just can't. It's actually right here. And so yeah, I had that. And then they got Shannon a baby doll, and they got Renee, Shannon, and I all a bag of Hershey's Kisses. I'm sorry, my nose itches. We went to a sweet shop and got candy and got sodas. It was honestly a lot of fun. When my mom picked me up, I said, bye, Mom. I had fun. See you again, without the knowledge that I wouldn't. No, she didn't die, just throwing that out there. She's still alive. She's alive and well. And then a few weeks later, Deb, Renee, and I were all in the hot tub, and we were in there because Deb had to talk to Renee and I, not in front of Shannon. She told us that while she was at work, she's a probation officer, she heard from the office next to hers that our birth mom was trying to set Shannon up with a visit with her birth father, who happens to be the guy who abused Renee and I. And seeing as I'd really felt connected to our birth mom, I was hurt. Really hurt. I think about that at times a lot. I still am. I still am hurt, you know? It hurts. It does. Anyway, my mom, Deb, said that she wanted to kill Shannon's birth father, and honestly, same. I will always hate him, and I don't hate many people. So I got out of the hot tub. Okay, and this is your last chance. If you don't like hearing about self-harm, please leave. I'm not fucking around. Leave this video if you don't like hearing about self-harm. I went to my room and I grabbed my blade. I had changed into PJs and I cut the word feel into my forearm. I was really pissed. I was hurt, angry, sad. Our birth mom had promised that she would never go back to him, choose him over her own biological children again. She promised, and I realize now that I really should have not trusted but I shouldn't have trusted it. You know, she's mentally a 5-year-old, and you don't trust 5-year-olds. You know, they're gonna break their promises, right? And it's just a really hard subject, you know? You don't trust, you shouldn't trust them, you know, and but I did. I put my trust in her, mainly because I try to see the best in people. It just didn't work in my favor that time, and, you know, I did kind of break down. I repeated I hate you, but I ended up cutting again, and in the end, I told a teacher who I really trusted. She ended up telling the guidance counselor, and she ended up calling my mom. I told her why I had done it. Let's just say I went home, cuddled with Deb, and did a lot of crying. Then in 2017, Shannon started asking about her father. I freaked the fuck out. I yelled at her, lost my cool. I don't want her knowing shit about the man who abused and almost killed me. He did almost kill me. I just don't want her to. She was told by Jill and Deb not to talk to me about him because I clearly have incredibly strong feelings by this subject, and but what my parents don't know is that I ended up cutting because of that whole ordeal. Like, she made a whole ordeal at school about it, and it fucked me up. And at some point, January of 2018, I cut again. Well, I attempted to. When my stepmom Bree was taken to the hospital via ambulance due to ripping her stitches from a surgery before the 25th of December. It was very scary, even though I knew ahead of time that it was going to happen and that way. But when you see an emergency vehicle in your driveway, it's terrifying. You can't freak out. You have to keep it together, but it's really, really scary. But I tried to cut, and out of being worried and to take my mind off of what had happened. But cutting is an addiction, just like cigarettes or alcohol or drugs, and it's not fun doing something you know isn't good for you, and you know that it's not safe, but you also feel like it's the only way to let it out and to feel better. It's not. I'm just gonna tell you that it doesn't make it better, because then you feel self-conscious and you're like, shit, somebody's gonna find out, and you have to harbor that, and it's really, really hard. You just have to stop, and you need to talk about it. It's something you need to talk about with people. You have to do it. You just have to stop. So that's just, you just gotta stop. So next subject, getting kicked out. So I'm just gonna say that this is another heavy subject. I was kicked out of a house. So yeah, just please, no hate. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be real. So this is all really hard for me to talk about, this whole story, all of this, everything that I've said prior and moving on from this point on. It is a very hard thing to talk about. All of it is. I can't do it just saying it off, hence why I wrote it all down. I wrote out exactly how I wanted to say it. And I am going to be real with you. I'm not going to make it sound like I wasn't in the wrong, because I was. A lot of the time I am in the wrong. So if you're going to watch, please be kind. Don't be a jackass in the comments. Thank you. So this is a very, very, very hard subject for me to talk about. So I used to go back and forth between Jill and Deb's houses ever since I can remember. It was just a fact of life. So I touched base on the fact that I used to struggle with letting out my anger in an appropriate way. And when I was angry, really sad or scared, it was like I would reverse back into a little kid again. I was like a 4-year-old throwing a tantrum, and it was how my brain worked due to the PTSD and NLD and a lot of different things like that. Now, Deb was the parent I went to for everything. I wanted something, I went to her. And I also felt more comfortable with her, which meant I blew up more there than with Jill. And my brother, who is only Jill and Breeze and was at Jill and Breeze only, he's really the only person I have a true connection with, making it so I reserve myself around him more. So to explain my blow-ups, you know how when you take a bucket and fill it with water and it's so full to the brim and it takes a drop, the tiniest drop of water, to make it overfill and spill down the sides? That's how it is with my blow-ups. So in January of 2017, I was stressing. I wasn't in a good mood. I just wanted to be done with the day. My bucket was full to the brim. And Deb said, go get on the treadmill. I got on the treadmill. I walked at about 2 miles an hour. Deb came in, told me to change my shoes. I did. I walked at 2 miles per hour again. She came in and told me to walk faster and change the settings on the treadmill. I started being a mouthy-ass teenager. I will admit, I started being a terrible child. She got mad at me and made me go faster. I stopped listening to her. I was being a total bitch. I was being oppositional. I wasn't being compliant. So Deb made me vacuum and sweep. I refused. I flat out refused. I just did. Deb made me go outside. She locked the doors, threatening to call the cops or call Jill and Bree. I screamed and banged on the door. Finally, Deb let me back in, and I refused to apologize and do the chores that she asked me to do before. So they sent me to my room. And both my sisters were there, Renee and Shannon. I continued to be non-compliant and to be oppositional. I pushed them to the point where they literally took all of my things, leaving only a couple blankets and pillows. I was in tears. Deb and Patty were in tears. Looking back, it's really sad. I would change everything if I could, to be honest. Like I said, I'm keeping it real. I was not allowed downstairs at all that afternoon or night. I was only allowed to leave my room to go to the bathroom, and that was it. Patty and Deb made Shannon bring me my dinner, which I can still remember exactly what that was. It was a veggie burger with two slices of wheat bread, slathered in ketchup, and an apple and a bottle of water. I wasn't even allowed to bring my dish downstairs that night. Shannon brought my dish down, and then she came back into my room and sat on my bed, trying to make me feel better, or at least that's how I remember it. I remember telling her, I don't think Mommy and Patty are going to keep me anymore. Shannon broke down, saying that she didn't want me to leave. It was probably the sweetest thing she's ever said to me. She broke down and said that she didn't want me to leave. The next day, which was a Sunday, I was called downstairs. Deb and Patty. Jill and Bree were there, and they were sitting with Deb and Patty, and they had found my notebook that I was using to journal in. I had written some pretty nasty things in there about not just Deb, but about teachers as well. Like I said, I'm keeping it real. Most were an in-the-moment kind of thing. I won't say what I said because I can't remember, and I know that it was really, really bad. Anyway, Deb said, we can't have you living here anymore. Go get all your clothes. So I packed, and once again, I had started cutting. And I was just really, 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 really depressed. I'm going to stop talking about that because it's also way too hard. But yeah, it's really hard. I don't want anybody to ever have to go through that. But fast forward to now, January of 2018, I'm in a better place. Yes, I'm still depressed. I still get depressed easily, but I'm not cutting. I use writing and singing and reading to help me when I feel a blow-up coming on. I try my best to work on it. I go to therapy every Thursday. A major helpful thing is Jill and Bree, definitely. They're very, very, very helpful. They're supportive, is what I'm trying to say. Incredibly supportive. I see Deb and Patty once a week, every Wednesday. I'm obsessed, and now I also obsess over things. I'm obsessed with In the Heights, Hamilton, an American Musical, Mandy Gonzalez, and writing fan fiction. Writing just helps me a lot. And Mandy's Fearless album, and Mandy Gonzalez in general, she inspired me to actually share my story with you guys and just throw it out there and be honest and be real. And she's just such a huge inspiration. And on that topic, I'd like to shout out Mandy. Fearless inspired me. It really has. And she's inspirational, and she's really my idol. She created the hashtag Fearless Squad, which, like, everyone who is a part of that is so tightly knitted into this online community, and it's just home. It's just home. Yeah. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching. It took a lot of fearlessness to share this with you guys, and I hope you guys will find that within yourselves and share your stories too. Alright, be fearless.